We'll hear what Kathryn Klaber has to say about this news. Good to talk to you again. How are you?
Good. Hey, I'd come on your show anytime.
Oh,
but,
absolutely, yeah.
We've been busy, and this is good news today.
It is. Now, what's the significance of what the information that's released today? What does it mean to Pennsylvania exactly?
Well, it's really taking the big picture number, which was over $200 million that the Public Utility Commission announced it collected from this new impact fee by the September deadline. But now today, the government's announced where all those funds are going. And, we have a lot of municipalities, counties, and other, local municipalities in this state. And, it's laid out the exact dollars that every one of those counties and all the municipalities where the operations are going on will see directly as a result of this activity. So there's something for everyone in addition to, what's already been out there in terms of lower utility bills and, other state and local taxes that the industry's been paying for, a number of years now.
Now, I've said it before, and I maintain that your industry and your coalition in Pennsylvania particularly is doing as good a job with marketing and public relations as anybody. A lot of people should take a lesson as to how you do this, and if I didn't believe it, I wouldn't say this. But at the same time, to listen to the governor, he's saying things like we're ushering in a new industrial revolution, and he said today as well, I've said it before, energy equals jobs. Some people, despite the marketing, despite the public relations, some people are still wondering where those jobs are. Can you point us in that direction?
Yeah, well, we've now relied on the Department of Labor and Industries. They call it their Marcellus Facts, and it's a monthly report that they send out on exactly where those jobs are. And I think you'll see in that anybody who reviews that on the Labor and Industries website sees it's a wide range of jobs, and there are jobs that are in every corner of the Commonwealth, not just what you would expect at the at the well sites or at the pipeline construction areas, but in environmental consulting firms, in construction firms, in all sorts of corners of the Commonwealth. And I'm not overstating it by saying there's jobs across every kind of job description, because that's what it takes to pull off this big of an operation in a place where there had not been a lot of oil and gas development at this scale before.
When it comes to the breakdown and it comes to how the money is distributed, are you and your colleagues within the industry pleased with the way the money's going?
Well, for years we had said that, any new tax or fee levied on this industry, that those funds go to the communities in which we're operating. There are host communities. They have to be our partners by the nature of this operation. And, we know that there are some impacts that are probably not covered with all the existing programs, infrastructure funding, the investments that our industry is making is a lot. But for any of those impacts that are not covered, that local governments ought to have the ability and the flexibility, to use these funds. So, we think it's a good thing to be essentially, sharing in the benefits very tangibly in terms of dollars. But I think we all know that there are broader implications. Energy security is not something, that we can maybe put an exact dollar on, but we know it's hugely important to the future of this country. Utility and energy costs are hugely important to our ability to maintain a whole lot of other jobs through manufacturing, what you mentioned the governor referred to today. All of those impacts make this a better economy and certainly make the environmental story more positive as we're using more and more natural gas for electricity generation, and some new electricity generating plants using natural gas have just been announced in the last few weeks in the Commonwealth as well.
And in reading the press release that was released today in the aftermath of these statements. The press release is significant. The press release and the statements made in the press release are poignant. One of the statements made in connection with what you're talking about with regard to energy. Additionally, the abundance of low-cost natural gas has driven electric and natural gas prices down nearly 40% since 2008, saving Pennsylvania businesses and consumers over $2 billion annually. After importing 75% of its natural gas just 5 years ago, Pennsylvania is now a net exporter of gas for the first time in more than 100 years. And in the absence of evidence to the contrary, they're big pluses for your industry and for Pennsylvania.
Huge pluses. And I think, and I'd like to think, we've crossed that threshold of, Pennsylvanians thinking that there's only a few that are benefiting. This impact fee announcement today, literally every square inch of Pennsylvania in terms of, local governments are receiving fiscal impact. And we know that's in addition to everything that's been going on already. So I'd like to think we're at the point where the majority of Pennsylvanians are starting to understand that this is really big and that there's enough benefit here to go around, and that this is part of our future and something that's very exciting to embrace. So, I'm glad to hear that's alive and well up in Northeast PA as well.
Well, it is, and in the press release again, 240,000, nearly 240,000 Pennsylvanians employed directly and indirectly within the oil and gas industry. The $204.2 million in impact fee revenues, also in addition to the over $1.6 billion in corporate sales and personal income taxes generated by the industry since 2006, including $420 million last year. Again, it sounds as if you're pretty well established. Obviously, everybody can get better, but I do believe these numbers are significant enough to share and to discuss, and that's the update as of today, Kathryn Klaber.
Oh, well, thank you for pointing it out. Important day today in what'll be a long and very exciting story for this industry.
We'll look forward to talking with you again. Don't be a stranger, and thanks again for sharing the information.
Take care.
Okay, there it is.